We were driving the TransAmerica Trail through the Boise National Forest when Ray lost a bolt that holds his brake caliper in place. Not having a replacement, we carved a stick that we found laying on the ground. Wooden peg pounded into place, we were now headed across a 7,200-foot pass to the mountain town of Featherville.
We got to climb over the mountains to get to Featherville. We're about a mile and a half from some switchbacks.
Like that was our last one for a while.
Just an old mining town that we're passing through as we're hobbling down the mountain.
I'm trying to come to a stop here, Mark, so be careful.
We stopped and talked to one of the local residents here in the Featherville area. There's another town down here called Pine, and he said it's 9 miles down the road. They have food, gas, motel, and he said the closest place that we'll be able to get a bolt is probably going to be Mountain Home, which from here is 60 miles, so we'll be 9 miles closer to that when we run to get it tomorrow.
See all these carvings along here, Mark?
Oh no, I guess I didn't see that at all.
That place we went into when we were inquiring, they had a moose and a little bear.
It was slow going, but Ray and I arrived safely in Pine. Some of the residents were helpful in an attempt to find a replacement bolt, with no luck due to the metric size. So early the next morning we headed off to Mountain Home. The Jeep dealer did not have one in stock, but after searching several parts stores, we found a suitable substitute at Ace Hardware. We were headed back to Pine when my own Jeep was struck by a rock on a stretch of road under maintenance, cracking the windshield.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 8 of TransAmerica Trail. This morning, Ray and I headed early to Mountain Home and took a little bit of running around to several different places before we finally found a bolt that would satisfactorily fit into Ray's caliper to hold it to the steering knuckle. But we got the bolt in. Ray's Jeep seems to be operating just fine now. Route 227 from Featherville, route is closed. So we had to drive around, and that's what we're driving on now. Then on top of that, we've lost quite a bit of time. It's actually almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon now. So we're going to skip a little bit of the TransAmerica Trail and try and make up some time. We are just entering Craters of the Moon National Monument. So we're going to stop in here. We've made a hotel reservation in Arco, and we'll get up tomorrow and hit the Trans Am Trail. So do you see that sign in there where it said the Pioneers Crossing? We're told to go on the south side of some river that runs south of here. And the ones who came to the north found out why they were told to go to the south.
Last year I had visited Craters of the Moon National Monument during the solar eclipse expedition. Tomorrow we'd follow the TAD along the outer edge of this fascinating landscape. But today we'd be truly immersed in it as we drove the paved road and hiked a few trails.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 9 of the TransAmerica Trail. Ray and I spent the night in the town of Arco, Idaho, and are just now turning south. And we are now back on the official TransAmerica Trail. Hawk off to my right here.
Yeah, I see them flying there.
You know, driving a road like this is so much prettier once you get past the power lines. Does it seem a little bit less smoky today?
I don't think it's any better.
We are now entering Craters of the Moon National Preserve, run by the BLM, unlike the National Monument, which is run by the National Park Service. Okay, well this is interesting. This is just washed out from underneath the cattle grate. That'd be pretty darned embarrassing to get high centered on a cattle grate, wouldn't it? Boy, this lava rock in here is really neat, isn't it?
Oh man, look at these formations.
It's not as impressive as Craters of the Moon, but that we get to drive through these, that's pretty cool, actually.
That is.
So we're crossing the Great Rift.
Yep, that's what it looks like.
The lava didn't actually come from a volcano, it just oozed out of the earth.
Right, a big rift, that's what it made me think of. That's why that sign caught my attention.
No, not mechanical troubles, thank goodness. Ray is just looking for a place to stick a hamburger that he bought this morning when we were having breakfast and reheat it a little bit. Oh, now that looks like the spot right there.
Alternator special. It looks to me like we're a little over, well, maybe a little over halfway to American Falls.
Oh, okay.
Pretty good dip down here.
Holy mackerel. Look at that.
Oh, this is collard.
That's what I was thinking. It was collard greens.
Yeah. Small hydroelectric.
Solar farm.
Man, that's a big one.
It's an interesting rock formation. Can you imagine how much riding around and exploring and asking questions and everything else Sam Correro, the guy who put the route together, must have had to do in order to find all these roads?
Amazing.
You know, I bet this is kind of a pretty view when you don't have all this smoke here. we've entered the Curlew National Grasslands and are traveling through this for a bit. This is still the official TransAmerica Trail that we're on. We're taking the most direct route to Mallet City, where we plan to spend the night.
It was a good day on the Tad as we drove through the remnants of a volcanic past. We spent that night at Malad City, and we're off the next morning for the 30-mile drive to the border with Utah.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 10 of TransAmerica Trail. We'll be picking up Trans-Am Trail here in another 2 miles. Welcome to the TransAmerica Trail. Looks like we're coming in more farm country. Welcome to Utah, Red.
Hello everyone. I thought this afternoon it would be a good idea to answer a common question I receive, which is how do I get routes? And of course the Trans-Am Trail, I bought that off Sam Correro. He sells that for $8 for each state that you want, or he has a discount for all the states. I can't remember the exact price, $80-something if I remember right. You can buy them off of him at transamtrail.com, and I buy the digital copies. You can also buy paper copies. They're more expensive, because of course he has to print them and there's more involved with what he gives you in that. But that's not exactly what I want to talk about. The more common thing that you might run across is you want to go somewhere, but how do you get there? What's the route to get there? And so I thought I'd discuss that a little bit. But before I do that, let me just point out something. I'm not teaching you step by step how to use all this software. I'm assuming you know how to use Google Maps. I'm assuming you know how to use Google Earth. I'm just going to tell you these are the steps to get through these things in order to make them work. And my goal is for me to get this over to Backcountry Navigator so it's a route I can use on my Nexus 7 while I'm driving along. So that's what I'm going to show you, and then you can adapt that to your own hardware and software situation. Alright, so let's just do something real simple for demonstration purposes. We're going to go to the Maze District in Canyonlands, and we're going to drive from Teapot Rock Camp to Dollhouse 3 Camp, which is basically what I did earlier this year on a trip. You may have seen the videos, Dollhouse Nights. So what I want to do here first is put Teapot Rock Camp in. Obviously I've already been testing this to make sure I can do what I want.
So I've put Teapot Rock Camp in there. And I'm going to ask for directions. And I'm going to ask for directions to Dollhouse 3 campsite. And there's our route right there. Now actually, Google did me the favor of reversing the route, so I'm going to reverse it back. So it goes from Teapot Rock to Dollhouse. So now I have this route. But how does that help me? It's not a GPX file. I can print it off and take a paper copy of it, but that doesn't help me get it into my Nexus 7 at all. So what I'm going to do is come over here to Details, and then I'm going to select the Share button, and I'm going to copy this link right there in case you can't see my cursor. Copy link. And I'm going to go to a free utility on the internet called maps2gpx.com, and I'm going to take that and paste it right in here, and then I'm going to click the Let's Go button, and then I'm going to save it to my desktop. Save. And it has appeared over here. I don't know if I've got that far on my screen. I don't. I'll bring it over here where you can see it. There it is right there. Then I'm going to open Google Earth. Move Google Earth off the top of this. And I'm going to bring this into Google Earth. You notice the dialog box pops up? There are 3 things here. 2 are already clicked, the top and the bottom. Create KML tracks and adjust altitude to ground height. I'm also going to create KML line strengths. You don't always have to do this, but on this particular one I know I will on a one exporter from Google Map. And there's our route. Now, for perspective, this is a really fast computer, and you'll notice it was lagging already. You can imagine if you had the TransAm Trail across here with thousands of points in it, how it would lag. And the problem is that it has a lot of points that we don't need in order to follow the route. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete all those points that are making the file very large and slowing down my computer, and we'll bring my Nexus 7 to a halt. We come over here where it says GPS devices, and we open that up, and under there we have tracks. We're going to open up tracks, and then we have 2 tracks. They're both titled Teapot Rock Camp, the Dollhouse, something or other, it disappears. And we have points right here. I'm going to point at it, highlighted blue. We're going to right click on that and we're going to delete them. We don't need those. And we're going to do the same thing on every track. We're going to delete all the points. Now you notice all I have is the blue line, and that's all I want because I can follow the blue line. I didn't need all those other points. Now the points are not any waypoints that may have been a part of the track. There weren't any in this track. But had there been waypoints there, such as where a geographical feature was or something, they would have been left alone. Those waypoints are actually right up in this area. We didn't touch them. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to export it. I'm going to come up here, GPS device, right click on it, save place as, and I'm going to name this Teapot to Dollhouse. And it will go to the desktop. Just normally I don't do that, but it's more convenient to show you what's going on. Alright, and again it appeared off the screen. Okay, I did one thing wrong. I saved this as a KMZ, and my Nexus 7 can open KMLs. I'm not sure it'll open KMZ, so I'm going to go ahead and do that again, and I'm going to save it as a KML. Down here select KML instead of KMZ, and I'm going to call it the same name. So now I have Teapot to Dollhouse KMZ. We can verify it's good. What I'm going to do, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to verify that it's good. I'm going to delete the GPS device, which will take the track away. Then I'm going to take and bring in the one I just created, and you'll notice I still have it all. And now it's very fast, it's not slow.
I can pan and scale. Works great. Okay, so now I need to figure out how I'm going to get the KML file over to my Nexus 7, which is actually pretty straightforward. I've got two options. One, I can plug the Nexus 7 into my computer and it will appear as a hard drive. Another, I can use an FTP application. Either way works. I've got a cable out. I'm just going to go ahead and plug the Nexus 7 right into my computer. Computer recognizes it. And I'm going to go ahead and open up Windows Explorer or File Explorer, whichever name you want to call it. And my Nexus 7 appears right there. I see internal storage. And I see documents. And I'm just going to drop it into that documents folder. So make sure I get the right one here. Copy that over there. And there it is. It's on my Nexus 7. That was pretty easy. I'll unplug my Nexus 7. I have it set up so that safe unplug's not necessary. Now I'm going to go ahead on my Nexus 7 and I'm going to open up Backcountry Navigator. Let me make sure this is focused. I'll open up Backcountry Navigator. I already made sure I had a map in there. I'm going to go to Trip Data. I'm going to import tracks or waypoints. I'll go up here because I know where it's going to start and it's not going to start in the right place. And I will browse to Documents. And inside of there I will see Teapot to Dollhouse KML. I will select that. I'm going to select the trip database I want. I created one on here called Dollhouse, so we'll just use that. And I'll say Start Import. Little icon appears up here. It changes to a check mark from an arrow. It starts with an arrow, changes to a check mark. When it tells me it's done, import finished. Click to see in map view. Boom, there it is. And just so you know, after the trip is all over and I want to save it with the actual route we drove and any notes I might have made, such as maybe there was an obstacle in the road or something like that, I come over here to Trip Data, share the data from this trip. I can change the name there and get the keyboard out of the way. Hit Export, exporting trip, exporting completed. And it will be in the folder called bcnav/out. You can go over there and find it with that file name. And copy it back over to my desktop computer, drop it inside of Google Earth. In that case, I can accept the defaults. I don't need the KML line strings anymore. And that's the maps that you see when a trip is over on one of my videos when I show you a map. So there it is. It's pretty easy. Now go, tread lightly, and be safe out there.